Hey Genghis, you ready for the scrum, dude? Oh man, been in a few scrums. Not my first scrum. Yeah, it's still cold. It's still cold. It's still cold last night. God, man, I'm a little cold right now. Even inside my house. Is it a beautiful day there, Genghis? What's your temp? It's still negative. Still negative numbers this morning. But it's supposed to be like 12°C today and 19°C tomorrow. Oof, thank goodness. GTSY. I don't know what that means. But yeah, it's been cold for so many days now in Texas. Most days, negative numbers. But afternoon, Brian. Good to see you. Oh yeah, that's right. You got a whole month off, Kings. Hey, good to see you, Brian. Brian, where are you from? I can't remember. No, we've chatted before, but I forget, Brian. Where are you from? Uh, but yeah, I was talking about the weather. It's supposed to warm back up tomorrow, back to 19°C. Looking forward to that. We suffer all summer in Texas. The weather's so hot. Leads, right? The weather's so hot. Is that what that means, Kings? Good to see you. So in the summer, in the winter, we should be blessed with good weather. Hiya, Choppy. But yeah, it's been like days on end of very, very cold weather. Negative number weathers. But yeah, 19°C tomorrow, which is good. And that's a quick warm up because right now it's -1, I think, outside. And then today it'll go up to like 12°C, and tomorrow 19°C. Bang, right back to. But it was over a week. We had very cold temperatures. Yeah. Happy February 1st, Choppy. Yeah, let's talk about rugby. Rugby. Might as well talk about rugby. Learn a little bit about rugby. I've seen some rugby. Watched some rugby tackles on my channel the other day. Good, nice form tackles. Looks like a solid sport. I've seen a few rugby matches. Now, I know Australian rules, rugby is a little different, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I've seen Australian rugby, probably more than I've seen. Yeah, Chap, you're more of a rugby league fan, not rugby code. I'm going to talk about both of them. Trying to understand that in my research yesterday. I mean, I guess rugby league is like a professional league within the UK where you play other local teams. And then, right, rugby union, I'm talking about it right now, Adrian, is more of an international thing where you play other countries. That's what I found in my research, if I'm understanding that correctly. It seems to me the rugby union is more popular. Choppy says he's more of a rugby league guy. Maybe I have that wrong. Which one is more popular? Yeah, I was doing some research last night, trying to understand. Maybe I've got it mixed up. I don't know. Rugby League more up north. Brilliant code. Yeah, I've got articles. I'll read about them. Definitely try to figure that out. But yeah, I've been studying about rugby. Rugby League is mostly played in the northern counties. Rugby Union is nationwide. Okay. I mean, it's old. I looked up the history. It's an old game. It's been around for a while. I think it said, now I'll have to look back, but I think it said rugby unions really formed in the 1800s. But the game's older than that. I don't know. I have written down. If I'm getting that wrong, I'm just going off the top of my head. I only researched last night for the first time. Trying to get a better understanding. Yeah, New Zealand, the New Zealand blacks. You ever seen them, Brian? The haka dance, I think they call it. You ever seen them? I've seen them. But yeah, I have some of the places also written down. I looked up where rugby's popular. Obviously, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, uh, France, other parts of Europe. I really realized that France is somewhat popular rugby is in France. I didn't know that till last night. Bath has a team, Adrian. Cool. The Six Nations, right? I did uh, read about that as well. Okay, rugby union was amateur, right? Yes. Yeah, the All Blacks have an amazing history. You're right, Genghis. I didn't really look up the All Blacks last night. I just know them from life. France and Ireland have great teams. Okay. Yeah, I knew Ireland, but I didn't really understand that France was into rugby that much. So, yeah, America has a great women's team. I didn't know that either. That doesn't surprise me too much, though. The New Zealand All Blacks are awesome, yes. So, out now on my channel, and we'll get right into rugby. Just a couple other things. I like Fahrenheit. Always talking Celsius. What do y'all think about Fahrenheit? And the U.S. uses Fahrenheit. Is that super confusing to you, Fahrenheit? Yeah, Italy I saw also play. You know, it's hard for me to say Italy. Is that weird? Because there's a town. There's a city outside of Dallas. And it's spelled the same way, Italy. They are adamant. Their town name is Italy. Italy. And I have friends that live there. And so I had to train myself to say Italy when referring to that city. And now when I see the word, I have to stop myself and go Italy when it's referring to the country. So confusing. It's like Fahrenheit and Celsius. You want to switch to Fahrenheit? Try to figure that out. Spain also, right? Ginga says most international England rugby union players went to private school. Okay. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Brian, I do centigrade Fahrenheit all the time. I speak both languages. And Brian does too, apparently. Who else speaks Fahrenheit and Celsius? Rugby league more a people's game, but it's rough and adored. Rugby union, oh, Mercy Dave. I'm guessing you're from around Liverpool. It was brought from England to the U.S. and Canadian colleges. Yes, that's true. Well, don't be mean, Mercy Dave. Don't call our game silly. That is disrespectful. I would never call rugby silly because I respect you. Anyway, but yeah, that's true. Mercy Day rugby was brought to the U.S. from England, played in colleges. Okay, I was trying to say, out now on my channel, I put out a property viewing video of a property in Ruthin, Wales. And man, I couldn't believe that cost us £1.5 million for a 7-bedroom. Did anybody see that video? I couldn't believe how cheap that is. King is, it's a matter of where you were brought up. We can all, no, it's not. We can all respect each other's games, regardless of where we're brought up. Yeah, did anyone see that Ruthin property? I couldn't believe it. That was so cheap. It blew my mind. Ruthin in Wales. Property for sale. Let me know if y'all saw that. You know, I put out that video of Guildford, Surrey, where my ancestors came from. Leeds Rhinos, great player, badly passed away. Okay, I'll check that out, bro. Yeah, I didn't think anyone would watch that Guildford, Surrey, where my ancestors came from. But that video is doing really, really good. And then I had a little mistake. Yesterday, I did watch, and this is also sports related, I watched a video about the rules of cricket yesterday. And now I think I'm gonna like cricket. I easily picked up the rules. I think, Choppy, you said before, cricket's not that confusing. Yeah, I get it. I like the way they can hit it any direction. Cricket looks fun. I think I would like to play cricket. The England Rugby Ground is Twickenham. Wales is the Millennium Stadium. But yeah, cricket looks fun. I watched a video all about the rules. And then I messed up the video in editing. I don't know if I can save it. Hi, June. So I don't know if my cricket rules video, it's all messed up. Sometimes I can screw up a video in editing. If I can fix it, I'm going to get out my cricket rules video after the live stream. So yeah, let's talk about rugby. What game is more dangerous? That is always the question that comes up whenever I started looking up rugby yesterday. Cricket's a great game. Oh, Australia's better than you, Brian. You'll come back. That you just had the Ashes, I think. And I think they beat you again, Australia. Is that right? You'll come back. It's a building year. You'll come back. What's their population compared to the UK, I wonder, in Australia? I mean, I know they're much bigger in size, so I'm assuming they have a bigger population. And so that might be why. They just got a bigger pool to come from. To draw from, you know? But you'll come back. I thought I turned off those comments, but apparently not. You'll come back. But yeah, as soon as I start doing research on rugby, it's first things popping up. What's more dangerous, the NFL or rugby? I mean, there is an answer. I looked it up. What do y'all think? What's more dangerous, the NFL professional rugby. Australia's catching up population-wise. Yeah, they only live on the coast, right? That's why I was wondering if they have more population or not. June says rugby's more dangerous. Professional rugby stats. There's all kinds of studies. They all came up in my research. June thinks rugby. Is anybody going to say the NFL? Does everybody agree with June? I got an article right here. It says rugby versus American football. Which sport is truly more violent? Now, violent is not the same as dangerous, right? Those are not the same. I got another one right here. Rugby versus football, which is more dangerous? So I've got one that says violent, which is more violent, one that is more dangerous. I looked up a bunch. There's studies. I was looking at full-on medical studies last night, but I narrowed it down to just these two articles. They all said the same thing. If the question is what is more dangerous, the NFL or rugby, meaning high-level professional or union rugby, I looked at this medical study that they put out, and they broke it down even by like race, gender, like everything. Every single article you can find says, drum roll, rugby is more dangerous. Rugby, y'all are all right. No pads, as you said. No pads. Non-stop play. More injuries. Easily more injuries occur in high-level rugby than the NFL. Everything I read said so. Even the medical stuff I was looking at, they were like medical studies done by high-level doctors and doctors and nurses. Yeah, there's really no argument. Rugby is the more dangerous sport. More injuries occur in a rugby game than an NFL game. Just put any two random games up, count the number of injuries in that game. There's more injuries in rugby. And a lot of the studies I looked at wasn't even close. Now, here's what this article says. This one is titled, Which is More Dangerous? We've already figured it out. Well, sort of. Rugby or football. They're both high-impact sports. And it says here, obviously, the fact that the game of rugby involves no pads or required headgear lends itself to a lot of scrutiny around safety. Naturally, having no protection besides a mouthpiece means players are going to be more prone to cuts, abrasions, lacerations, and bleeding. It's certainly not uncommon for players to draw blood during a game, but in the instance where that happens, the player must be subbed out until the bleeding is stopped. I've learned this too. While all of the aforementioned injuries are undesirable, they are certainly not severe. This is where it gets a little tricky. Most of them aren't severe in the long run of things. What could be severe, though, is the potential for head and neck injuries. Some of you are talking about that right now on the screen. I see Rob Murrow died, MND. Most players have cauliflower ears. The head and neck injuries are the dangerous part of your sport, of rugby. Should two players collide head-to-head in a game, the consequences can be dire in rugby. Fortunately, there are rules surrounding the contact area that limit the dangers of head-to-head contact. Firstly is the fact that players must wrap up when attempting to tackle. This prevents players from launching into the contact shoulder or head first. Second is the laws around tackle height. Because you're not allowed to tackle someone above the shoulders, contact with the head and neck is mitigated significantly. So, they play NFL Spurs football ground in London, Brian. Yeah. No neck tackles, Choppy said, right? Had loads of pace and power and foot skills. Yeah. Now here's what this same article says about the NFL. The protective gear prevents a number of injuries, particularly to the shoulders and upper body. Having pads on certainly reduces the risk of cuts and abrasions, but on the flip side, it can lead players to think they are invincible, particularly with the use of their heads. Having a helmet on allows players to use their head as a weapon, with blocking, tackling, and running the ball. While it's definitely effective to use your head to tackle, it's really dangerous in the long run when it comes to repeated head injuries and micro-concussions. Over time, players can sustain injuries to the brain through consistent trauma to the head, both in practice and in games. Furthermore, football does not require players to wrap up on tackles, so guys can leave their feet going into a collision, use their shoulders on hits. That's true. Low center of gravity. Whitehaven are awful this season. So, this article goes on to talk about the conclusion, which the conclusion is that both are dangerous sports. More injuries occur in rugby. I got another one. I looked at a lot of these. This one is the one that's called Which Sport is Truly More Violent? What do y'all think about that? The other one was What's More Dangerous? What has more injuries? Rugby. What's more violent? Which sport? Any? I'm gonna wait. But y'all, let me know what you think on that one. Everyone said rugby before. Rugby's more dangerous. What's more violent? But yeah, I'm gonna have to check out this. I'll look back. Rob Burrow. Y'all are talking about. I'm very curious about that. Who that is? Who that was? Sad if he died. It's still chilly. You're not even in my house. Really looking forward to it warming up. No comments on which game is more violent. So we need a big squad for injuries, right? Y'all get players get injured constantly, and if they're bleeding, they have to come out of the game of rugby. It's like a small car crash when the players collided to each other. In which sport, Choppy? In rugby or the NFL? Which one's like a small car crash? For both. Which sport is truly more violent? The NFL or rugby? Adrian, you say rugby. Rugby's definitely more violent. Okay, there's not really an answer in this article. I'm going to tell you that right now. It doesn't really say which one necessarily is more violent. But I just wonder what you think. So far, it looks like, okay. Choppy, in rugby, you think it's like a small car crash. You don't think it's like a small car crash in the NFL? They leave their feet. Adrian says definitely rugby is more violent. Yeah, Kingish, your players have different roles in rugby. In the NFL, yeah, they're a specialist. Motor neurons disease. That's what Rob Gottbrand says. I'm going to look him up. Hands down. Everyone says, that surprises me. If I'm honest, and I'm not a big NFL fan, if you think rugby's more violent, I think you're just biased. I do. I think you're just biased. Now, this article doesn't say. It says both are equally violent. And now I'm just talking about my opinion. And I haven't seen a lot of rugby, so maybe I'm biased. But if you got a player that can leave their feet and run at full speed, and he's not gassed from nonstop play, he's fresh. That just seems more violent to me. You don't think so? He can full on run as hard. He does not have to wrap you up. He can go as hard and as fast as he can. Lead with his shoulder. Leave his feet. He's not tired from nonstop play. He's a specialist. That's all he does. He just practices all the time. And he's good at it. To me, that seems more violent. That seems more violent. But you don't think so? I respect your opinion. I'm having to get rid of some of these numpties. But I'm surprised no one thinks that the NFL is maybe more violent than rugby. I mean, as Ginga said, rugby, hands down. Adrian, rugby, definitely. I mean, I don't know. The rules allow the NFL to be more violent. The rules in rugby allow it to be less violent. That's what those rules are for, to decrease the violence. Let's see what this article says. And I might just skip to their conclusion. I did read this already. It's a big article. Basically, the stats show that concussions in the NFL are 10 for every 1,000 hours played at high-level rugby or American football. Per 1,000 hours in American football, 10 concussions. In rugby, 4. So, it's the week in June. I thought, sorry, I'm having all kinds of trouble. It's the weekend. I guess a lot of people are joining. I thought I blocked everyone but non-subscribers, but apparently the numpties are getting in. So concussions per 1,000 playing hours falls into the NFL. Bone fractures also fall into the NFL. Ligament tears also fall into the NFL. Dislocations also more in the NFL. Soft tissue injury more in rugby. So what this article is saying is that major injuries are more frequent in the NFL. This is hard today, y'all. I keep setting my live streams to only subscribers can comment, but for some reason, sometimes it doesn't work. And now it's hard for me to just delete them all, and then I mess up my camera setup. So according to that, more dangerous injuries happen in the NFL. At the end it says this: so when your buddy asks which sport is more violent, don't just shrug and say both. Ask them what hurts more, 100 bruises or one hit that ends your season. I don't know. Again, I haven't seen a lot of rugby. I don't know what kind of injuries are happening all the time. There were some stats in that one that showed worse injuries happen in the NFL. And more injuries happen kind of by far in rugby. More injuries. Higher numbers of injuries in rugby. Higher number of serious injuries in the NFL. I don't know. Which is more dangerous? You tell me. Now, let's get into some of the, you want to talk, well, let's see. You want to talk about the rules? You want to talk about the history? I did watch those rugby tackles. Yeah, I like tennis too, Brent. I grew up playing tennis. It can be dangerous though. I've had some pretty bad tennis injuries, but uh, yeah, I watched some of those rugby tackles in a video that's on my channel, and they're nice. I gotta admit, those tackles, they're nice. And those guys are stocky. It's looked like to me. Like, are there very many tall rugby? How tall are those guys? I mean, they're probably all 6 foot or more, right? But they have stocky builds. Like, they look like. On screen, they look kind of stocky. Makes them look shorter, but I bet they're tall and wide. Trump Tomb Raider on PlayStation. It's dangerous. Be careful, June. Look out. You could get a thumb injury. Some are tall, some are short, but they're typically stocky. Yeah, they all look stocky. They look pretty thick, those guys. And, getting hit by that, I bet it does feel like a car wreck. Yeah, Ed, I am Mark Twain, as a matter of fact. Did I just? Okay. Dartides, they can't release the dart when throwing. Can't really. No, I never heard of that. Genghis is asking me. Genghis, something's fascinating, huh? But yeah, it looked to me like, I feel like I'd enjoy rugby. I need to understand the rules a little bit more. Why don't y'all tell me? I got an article in here I kind of read. But what if I say the base? Okay, what's the point? Let's start there. What's the point? What are you trying to do in rugby? How do you score? You want to tell me? It'd be better if I could just talk to you about it and still look it up. Speedway? What is that, Brian? These guys are big and small, forwards and backs, right? Yeah, I could see there was a different mix of guys in rugby. Yeah, what's Speedway, Brian? I might check it out. But I think I could like watching rugby. I don't feel like it's too confusing. I did look up all the rules, you know. Yeah, it's not that confusing. If you want to explain it that much. Y'all know about William Webb Ellis? Apparently, rugby football traces its roots back to the early 19th century at Rugby School in England. The legend states in 1823, a student named William Webb Ellis picked up the ball during a football match and ran with it. The first written rules of rugby were established in 1845. The Rugby Football Union in 1871 standardized the rules. Rugby was initially an amateur sport, and it wasn't until 1995 that it became fully professional. The split between rugby union and rugby league occurred in 1895 due to disagreements over player payments, resulting in two distinct codes of the game. Is that right? Yep, drop kick, tries, penalty kick, sandy track. BIHES, Brian? BIHES on a sandy track. Oh, is that supposed to be bikes? Bikes on a sandy track? What kind of bikes? Bicycles? Motorcycles? Which one is it? I used to play at school. My old rugby teacher, who's passed, called Mr. Knott. They named the Westbury Rugby Field after him, Knottsville, Adrian says. The light is bad in here today. The sun's coming up. Can't get good light. Motorbikes. I like to ride, Brad. We have races like that on sandy tracks. I've seen stuff like that before. I'm more of a, when it comes to bicycles, I like to ride and I love to watch the sport. When it comes to motorcycles, I like to ride. I don't watch other people ride. It's boring. I don't usually watch other people ride. The idea of Man Time Trial Race is pretty, the Isle of Man Time Trial Race is pretty brutal. Y'all really, Adrian's always talking about it. I mean, Genghis is always talking about the Isle of Man Time Trial. I'm just afraid to react to it because what if it's boring to me? Just car racing and motorcycles. It's just not a sport that I usually watch. Now, I like motorcycles and I like to work on cars, so that may seem weird. I've always worked on cars. My dad was big into mechanics and cars. And I love to ride motorcycles. Yes, dirt bikes, Genghis. I just never get into watching other people ride or race. I get bored. I mean, maybe I'll check it out. I just hate to have to watch something on my channel and then say to you, well, I didn't like it. Because no one wants to watch me watch something and then me go, I don't like it. That's how motorcycle racing and car racing has been to me in my past. I just get bored. Need something slower. I mean, I've watched a lot. Car racing's huge around these parts. I've seen so many car races. I just start to fall asleep. It's one of those things I much prefer doing. And maybe that's why I love to do it. I love to drive. I love a motorcycle. But watching someone else do it, it just doesn't usually catch me. Maybe I'll check it out. Y'all keep talking about the Isle of Man Time Trial so much. Maybe I'll check it out. But if I watch it and then I react to it and go like, oh, that was good, you'll know, I mean, that's bored. I just don't like to be disingenuous or put myself in a position where I feel like I should. So rugby also, and we can talk about anything. Brian, you want to bring out something else? Another sport? We can talk about anything right now. Tour de France comes past, yeah, well, it went past you once and there, it hadn't been back there. But it did once. Yes, see, the Isle of Man I like. I'm interested in, for sure, Adrian, because Mark Cavendish is from there. The great sprinting cyclist. The Manx Missile, that's his nickname. He's from the Isle of Man. And the Bee Gees. They're from the Isle of Man. Sometimes Manchester tries to claim them. They're from the Isle of Man. But yeah, we can talk about anything here. I was kind of going over some of the history of the sport. And yeah, the difference between rugby union, rugby league, Apparently they had to split off from each other. And then, of course, like World Rugby, where you play other nations. It's played by millions worldwide, rugby is. Yeah, I think rugby's a pretty cool sport. I think it's more of a, yeah, here's one that talks about, I found this article that explains Rugby 101 and kind of the rules. I won't bore you with it, but I read them all. Continuous play. Kicking is the only method by which both teams may move the ball forward. After each try worth 5 points, the scoring team is allowed an opportunity to kick the ball through the post. You know the rules. It does mention the Six Nations in this article too. Well, in this other article. I think I would like rugby, you know? I think it's a more nuanced sport than the NFL, maybe. Can't even get through this live stream with all these people. What's wrong with y'all? And some people, they just spend their whole time like they just do this. It's sad for them. Bunch of numpties sitting around. I can't even see what y'all are saying. The Six Nations is really popular. Certainly one you enjoy watching, huh, Adrian? Victoria Pendleton was a great cyclist. Brad says Nigel Owens in rugby as an official ref is not to be trifled with. Okay, is this an official? Nigel Owens. And now my whole setup is messed up. Yes, there is a setting to keep out everyone but subscribers. But I'm going to have to contact YouTube because it keeps on not working. When it works, I don't get this problem. But there's something happening every time I set it up. It says saved, but then it doesn't. But I'll get it worked out, y'all. I mean, it's particularly today because it's a weekend. It's a Sunday. So a lot of non-subscribers are joining in. It's not always like this. Graham Aubrey, Jason Kinney. I don't know these names. Are these rugby players? I don't know these names. Graham Aubrey and Jason Kinney. Who's that? Trying to get the lighting a little better too. Not working though. Yeah, tell me who these are. Who these players are. Graham Aubrey. Is he a player? Is he an official? Yeah, what's more popular? Track cyclist kings? Okay, I'm a road cyclist guy. I don't watch much track cycling. Yeah, what's more popular? World play? Where, like, Adrian's talking about the Six Nations, Six Leagues, whatever. Six Nations, is that more popular, or is just leagues more popular? Like, not international play is what I'm asking. I'm trying to set this up better. Is international play or non-international play more popular in rugby? Sorry I'm messing with my camera so much. No thoughts on that? Alright. Well, I think I'd like rugby. I don't think that Six Nations is more popular. Murray Walker, he's a British Formula One commentator. Okay. Choppy also wants me to like car racing. I like Johnny Wilkinson. I don't know who that is. Jim. I'm sorry, when y'all say these names and you don't explain to me who they are, I don't know. On the whole, Six Nations is more popular. Thank you, Adrian. That's what I was wondering. Rivalry with Dan Carter, the famous Dan Carter. No idea who that is. I guess that concludes my talk about rugby. Johnny Wilkinson was the English captain of rugby. It's a rugby player, June says. Johnny Wilkinson. Okay. He was the English captain. I guess that, maybe, were you good at the time and he was the English captain? Or was he just a good player? About your English Premier League, I know the team I'm following lost yesterday, 4-1. But about that, about your English Football League, Premier League, at the end of the year, just somebody has the most points, they win. I understand that. Whoever has the most points at the end of the English Premier League, they win. Correct? Now, I also know you have the FA Cup, which is more of a tournament style. Right? But the FA Cup is also just points based? I don't think so. You advance through the tournament by winning? Or do you just advance through the tournament by getting points? Thought I had that figured out till just now. Guess what I'm getting at, like, especially with the Premier League. And Chappie says tournament, so I guess he means the FA is a tournament. Yeah, that's what I thought. So at the FA Cup, there's 2 teams left. And they face off. That's the final. And I believe that's usually at Wembley Stadium. Right? It's a pretty big deal. If I understand correctly, the FA Cup comes down to 2 teams. They face off at Wembley Stadium. It's a big game. And the winner is crowned the winner of the FA Cup. So that's a tournament. That's exciting. But isn't the English Premier League kind of like, oh, the season's over. Let's see who has the most points, they win. Yeah, there's a lot of cups, I know, the Caribou. There's a bunch more, too, than just those 2. There's a lot of lower, smaller cups. Those are tournaments. But at the end of the Premier League, there's no final. Isn't that anticlimactic? I guess that's why you have the FA Cup. What's more prestigious to win? Like some years, I guess the FA Cup tournament winner could be the same as the English Premier League winner, right? It could be the same. I don't know if that happens very much, but I'm guessing oftentimes they're two different teams. So what's more prestigious? What do you want your team to win, the FA Cup or the league? The Premier League is better to win, Choppy says. I thought so as well, because they are the elite teams. So if you're the best of the elite teams, then that's more Premiership, more exciting, especially near end of season. The FA Cup is still very prestigious. Now it's down to money. We just have the Super Bowl coming up next Sunday. And that's quite the event because there's a final. But y'all don't have that with the Premier League. I guess there's a final day when things can be decided based on points. But it's not necessarily the two best teams. See, wouldn't it be fun if you took the teams with the first and second place points and have them face off? Wouldn't that be fun on the last day? And then decide, okay, these are the two best teams that have the most points. Let's have them play each other. See who wins on the last day. Season, Liverpool and Arsenal were tied on 76 points. Arsenal won the league on goals scored. Yeah, see, I'm sure that's exciting. Chappie's telling me about in 88, 89. That was probably an exciting finish to the league. But wouldn't that be fun if you had it every year? Instead of having to talk back to the 1 year it happened, 88, 89. It'd be more fun to have that every year. Liverpool won yesterday, huh, games. Beat my team Newcastle 4-1. June. Yay, Gooners. I don't know who that is, June. The Gooners. But anyway, now I've switched talking sports to football. But I think rugby looks fun. I'm gonna get into rugby. I'm gonna get into cricket, I think. I would love to play cricket. I'm kind of built for cricket. I'm fast, I'm quick, I have good hands, and great eye coordination. Oh, that's Arsenal's nickname, the Gunners. Okay, Chuck. All right. I'm very quick, especially in short bursts of speed, a skill you need for tennis. I think that translates to cricket. Short burst of speeds, great hand-eye coordination, really good at catching things and hitting things. And I get angles. The way the ball's coming off the bat, I can read that immediately and head in that direction. That's good skills for cricket, right? I should get into cricket. I like the way they can hit it backwards. And then I saw how they this one guy he was on one side and he stepped to the other side and switched and hit it the other way. So after the ball was already en route, the cricket ball was already bowled, and he crossed its path with his whole body and switched and hit it the opposite way. That looks fun. That looks fun. That's kind of a tennis move. You do that in tennis. Yeah, test matches last 5 days, I know. I watched a whole video about it, but I'm not sure if I can get it. I'm not sure if I can get it edited correctly and put out. If I can, I'll put it out today. All about the rules of cricket. It looks fun. It looks fun to play. I really like to play it. But I think I could also enjoy watching it. And rugby as well. I don't want to play rugby. Those guys look too big. And we just figured out that it's more dangerous than the NFL, which I also don't want to play. And thin and light. And I don't want to get hit by these cars and trucks. But I wouldn't mind watching rugby. But yeah, I need to get out a couple more videos edited today. I'm also off today work. So yeah, try to get that cricket one out. And a couple of other ones that I have lined up to watch. And yeah, if y'all didn't see that Ruthin property tour video, I still can't believe I showed the house down the street that's the same price. There's a house that's for sale there in Ruthin. And I can't believe the price difference. It just blew my mind. If you haven't seen that video yet. Because that house there shown in Ruthin is like 7 bedrooms, I don't know, 4 or 5 bathrooms, 10 acres, access to a creek, a pond, vegetable gardens, stables. I was like, wow, as they were showing it. And then they put the price up and I was like, what? What? And I got up. If you haven't seen the video, I got up because I know this house they're building down the street, same exact price. Yeah, that place looked great, huh, June? And I got up. If you haven't seen the video, it's like, let me show y'all what you get in Dallas for that price. Because it's right across the street, basically. They're still building that house, but I looked it up. I'm always curious what houses sell for on my street. So I looked it up, and I knew when I saw the price of that house in Ruthin, I was like, what? I already knew that one down the street was the same price. Yeah, I do get it. It's in Wells, and it's not a big place. I think Ruthin's population is, I looked it up, around 3,000. I'm thinking about staying there for a few nights, maybe outside Ruthin, but it's not very big. And the same is true here. You can't really compare country prices to city prices. And I live in the city, and it's expensive where I live. But still, the price difference was so big, I was like, what? Well, good luck on the lotto, Genghis. Yeah, June. Sage is coming. He would kill me if I didn't take him. He's a big fan of the UK. Sage is different. He won't ever be on camera. He would never come on camera. He doesn't want to do it. He's a different thing. Sage's hair is like down to his waist. My son Sage's hair, super long. And yeah, he's a different cat. But yeah, he's coming with me. He's super quiet. You can't hardly get a word out of him. He don't say boo to a goose. He should have company best way. I mean, I like alone time too. We do a lot, and even, yeah, we'll probably separate at some point and do things that are different from each other. Although we do have a lot of the same taste as well. I don't mind being alone, June. I've done a lot of alone traveling. I spent 3 weeks alone in the forest once, and I almost went insane. But it was fun. In the end, you learn a lot about yourself if you spend a lot of time with yourself. Adrian, you living near the sea, I would prefer. You know, I'm also looking at, and I can't remember the name of yeah, Sage is definitely an introvert. Karen, what do you think of Whiteheaven slang blog? I don't know. It's, I don't know, not that understandable. Uh, Up there in the part of Wales, and I can't remember the name of the cities, but it's on the coast, and it would be, there's kind of a point, I don't think you would call it a peninsula, but part of Wales at the northwestern part on the coast. It looks pretty deserted. You know where I'm talking about? Anybody? Adrian, maybe? There's a few towns up there, or cities. I don't know which. Lynn Peninsula, I think that's right, Adrian. Is that pretty desolate, pretty isolated? Because maybe I stay there for 2 or 3 days. I'm looking for a desolate, isolated place. Rithen's maybe, but there is stuff to do and see in Rithen. The castle. There's a lot of stuff around. I found some hiking type villages in, because I was looking at the map even yesterday. I saw some villages or cities or towns in Snowdonia National Park that looked really nice for hiking, and even climbers go there. It was maybe, and I can't remember the name of those, but they were more south, at least south of Rithen. It looked like one was rich for climbers. Yeah, but I'm not going to the Outer Hebrides in this trip, Adrian. I'm going to go that far north in my first trip. My first trip will be England and Wales. And I might dip into Scotland if I get up to Carlisle or Northumbria. I might dip into the bottom part of Scotland, but not the Outer Hebrides. Anyway, about that place, I think it's called the Lynn Peninsula, as Adrian says. And it looks pretty isolated. I'm looking for some place to stay for 2 or 3 days with nothing to do. Yeah, I got some videos coming later, Genghis. I don't know what they are yet. Cricket, I think. The Strid, Bolton Abbey, most dangerous. Okay, I've heard of this, bro. I will check out. Most dangerous river in the world, huh? Whew. That sounds dangerous. The Strid. Maybe I'll look it up today and react to the Strid. People will let you stay. See, that's the other thing is I was looking at, like, I like this little village called Rhuel, Rhewl. It's outside of Rithen, not far. But as far as I can tell, there's no place to really stay. You know what I mean? Like, I want some place that's kind of remote, and yet if you go someplace remote, there's no place to stay. Like, Rithen has lots of places to stay. Pretty quiet. St. David's, where's that, Adrian? Oh yeah, no problem, June. See ya, have a good day. Following the Strid, you're done for. Brian says. Where's St. David's? Preferably, I'd love to find a little country farming place, but I can't seem to find one that's the undercurrent, Genghis says, on the Strid. Southwest Pembrokeshire, okay. But see, seems a little less remote when I'm looking in the south of Pembrokeshire. It seems a little more active and busy. I know it's counterintuitive. You're like, why is he looking for a place where there's nothing to see or do? I just want one. For, I don't know, 3 or 4 days where I can just write and look at nature and not be tempted to go like, oh man, you know what? I did hear about this place down the road. Maybe I should go check that out. So yeah, I'm trying to find Knaresborough near Ripon is nice. Is that in Wales? It's funny, it's funny, Brian, when you're like, Knaresborough near Ripon. Know where Ripon is. The far west is quiet. Far west. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Anyway, I'll find a place. That's just one place I want to stay a few nights. That's not where I'm going to spend most of my time. I got so much I do want to see and I do want to do. Oh, I'm definitely going to North Yorkshire, Brian. I'm definitely going. I love Yorkshire. I'm checking all out. Probably going to stay in County Durham. I'm going to stay in Durham. But I'm going to see North Yorkshire from there. Barmouth is lovely, mid-Wales coast. Barmouth is lovely. Agent says, is it also lovely places, often inhabited? Is it empty? And lovely, that would be a bonus. But yeah, I'm checking out North Yorkshire. Do coast to coast walk, be cheaper. Coast to coast walk take a whole week, Brian. It is on my bucket list of things to do, but not for my first trip. I'm gonna do a lot of hiking, and I'm not looking for cheaper, Brian. This is like a trip of a lifetime. I'm not trying to do it as cheap as I can. I'm trying to do it proper. But I'm gonna do some hiking. I'm gonna do some camping. I'm gonna do some fishing. I'm gonna do some wild camping. But I can't do the coast to coast trip. It'd take a whole week. Yeah. I'm gonna be well organized when I come. See, now I'll do that hiking and camping probably alone. Sage will stay back in the hotel or Airbnb. How are y'all's Airbnbs? I know not every place has them, right? I think there's rules, regulations. Can I get a pretty nice Airbnb in Durham? Can I get a pretty nice Airbnb in Bristol? I'm thinking, from what I found so far, I'm thinking yes. But as far as going to someplace remote, I don't know what I'll find. Of course, I'll stay in hotels in London. For a few nights, I'll stay in hotels, probably in Surrey for a few nights. And then I'll go from Surrey to Bristol. And then after staying there for maybe a week, and I'll go to someplace small, probably in Wales, check it out, and then over to Durham. So far, that's my plan. I'm gonna also do some cycling. Three Peaks is a great one. The Pennine Way also looks really fun for a walk. I'm probably gonna cycle from Bristol to Bath. Maybe do the circuit around Bath as well for a nice hike. Anyway, oh, I guess I'm 10 minutes over. But rugby looks fun to me. I'm going to get into your sports a little bit. I'm going to keep rooting for Newcastle United. I'm going to watch some cricket and some rugby. Cricket's caught my eye though. Maybe find me a cricket team to root for. I don't know how that works either. I know there's pro and international and all that. Anyway, well, it's going to be 19 Celsius tomorrow, and I can't wait. Let's see, that's like around mid 50s. It's going to be 55 degrees tomorrow. Does that sound weird to you? Nice Airbnb called Mouse Cottage. That's for bigger groups. And yeah, Bradford upon Avon and Bath. It's a great cycle. Yeah, I do want to see Bradford upon Avon. I don't know if I'll be able to. Maybe. I want to see a lot while I'm in Bristol. But I might be able to get to Bradford upon Avon. I'm going to spend a lot of time at Bath and get over to Somerset. I hope to get down to 10. But yeah, so much to see. Then I'll plan another trip, which will probably be mostly Scotland. I get excited. I want to see everything, but I have to narrow it down. But yeah, trip to Scotland. Scotland. I love Scotland. Or I've always wanted to go. Fascinated with Scotland. And all the hiking and camping that can be done up there. And plus Edinburgh. I'm fascinated by, and Glasgow. Inverness, Aberdeen, the Outer Hebrides. Stirling. I want to go to Stirling. A lot of history there. Loch Lomond and Ness. And all that looks good. Anyway, I better sign out. It's good to see you all today. Sorry I went a little long, Adrian. Genghis, good to see you. Thanks for your help. Brian, good to see you today. Brian from Leeds. Genghis Khan, good to see you. June, I think, left, but good to see June today. Choppy. Always good to see Choppy. Y'all have a great day. Yeah, I guess that's everybody that was here. There may have been a few I've left out, but yeah, it's good to see everybody. You have a great day. And the Northern Lights, King is right. Yeah, thanks, Brian. You take care too. But everybody have a good day. It's always fun for me. Away from Dallas, Texas, signing out.